Determined to film this damn video. Hi, I'm Brittany Andresian, face behind Firm Ground Nutrition, and I am a certified holistic nutritional practitioner. I graduated from the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition in Alberta. So titles can vary a little bit province by province, but here in Alberta we're called certified holistic nutritional practitioners. It's a bit of a mouthful, but that's kind of what I gotta go by. I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey in becoming a nutritionist or a certified holistic nutritional practitioner today, because it's certainly a question that comes up a lot. People periodically will message me on Instagram or people in my personal life. And I know when I was first going through the journey from even considering nutrition all the way through, I've had a lot of questions myself. So it's kind of nice to have a place where you can find those answers. So hopefully this video does just that for you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my decision to pursue nutrition, my experience at the school that I chose, and then starting a business from the ground up and what that's been like post-studies and kind of what I've learned so far. So to tell you a little bit about why I decided to pursue nutrition, I think it was probably around 2010 that I first became interested in nutrition in general, more of like from a personal standpoint and wanting to adopt some healthier practices and clean up my diet, exercise more, that kind of idea. I had just gotten home from Australia where I spent 4.5 months backpacking at 18. So if you've ever backpacked or if you've ever been 18, maybe you know that you don't make the healthiest choices. And certainly that was me. And I came home feeling kind of gross in my body and yeah, just kind of genuinely uncomfortable. And I knew that I wanted to make a change. So started to take the time to learn about ways that I could be healthier. And of course, nutrition is a fundamental part of that. And my interest in nutrition and learning about it never really went away. So at first, I didn't really think about it as a career option. I didn't think about pursuing education in that. In fact, at the time, I was pursuing education for something entirely different. But like I said, that interest never really went away once I had started to learn about nutrition. And by learning, I mean like Googling and reading whatever I could get my hands on, searching on the internet kind of thing. I think around 2012, after I had spent some time in university and pursuing other post-secondary options, I just started to feel like they really weren't the right fit. And it was kind of that, I think this is pretty common, but when you feel like you've already sank this amount of time and money into something, but it's just really not personally resonating with you, and you feel kind of at that crossroads, I found myself there, I think, a couple of times. And sorry, Mom, that was probably really frustrating for my mom. But ultimately, I went with my gut, and I was like, you know what? This is just not for me. So I stopped pursuing what I had been going to school for, and I changed courses. I should mention that in the background at this time in my life, I had also, in 2010, started on a career path with a company that I just recently left. So I was there for 7 years. And yeah, so I was balancing school and work always. It was something that I was just had kind of grown accustomed to. After I had changed my course, it was definitely at that point that I started more seriously considering nutrition and going to school for, at the time, dietetics. I was considering McGill in Quebec, and I was also considering University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon, right? Yeah. But honestly, the time commitment, the financial end of things, and having to leave my city were things that I would have been willing to do, but at the same time, I wasn't necessarily excited to do those things. So it just so happened that I bumped into a friend who was working at Lululemon one day, and she was actually in the program at Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. Prior to that, I didn't even know it existed. So I went home, Googled it, and read up what I could. It really seemed like a great fit. Long story short, after weighing up the two options, I did end up pursuing holistic nutrition instead of dietetics, and I'm really happy with that choice. I don't regret it. I'm not here wishing I did things the other way around. And yeah, I chose to go in the distance program. So there's kind of two different prominent schools in Canada. There's more than just the two, but two schools kind of really stand out. IHN, which is in Vancouver area and Toronto, and then CSNN, which is across Canada. So there's different campuses um, in a bunch of places, and they also have a distance program, and that was ultimately what drove me towards choosing CSNN. And yeah, like I said, I had a job at the time, so I chose to do distance, which honestly wasn't my preference, but I did it anyways because I had kind of been keeping this idea of pursuing nutrition in my back pocket, thinking, at some point maybe I'll make the time to fully dedicate to my studies, but I had to at some point realize that I wasn't planning on leaving my job, and I didn't really know when there would ever really be the opportunity to be a full-time student that wasn't also employed. So I chose to do distance, and it certainly can be challenging balancing a career or your family life or your personal life and studying to your own accord. Like, you have to set your own schedule, you have to motivate yourself, you have to teach yourself, like, you really have to be a self-starter to make it through that program, but it's totally achievable and doable. It just took me a little bit longer than what they normally, or what they kind of outline for you. So CSNN's distance program, they say you can do it as quick as 1 year, and 2 years is kind of the maximum. However, you can choose to extend beyond that in increments of a year. So one thing that I will say is that a common question or a common thing that I see come up all the time, whether it's people asking me personally or in the alumni group with CSNN, or the distance group on Facebook, not CSNN, but on Facebook, is people are really worried that they're super far behind and that their timeline is all messed up and they're not going to graduate, and they've got all this stress and anxiety and this fear and doubt creeping in about what timeline they are with the program. I don't know that I've personally spoken to anybody that hasn't had to extend at least once. I will say, if you're considering CSNN or maybe you're just learning about it for the first time, my overall experience with CSNN was really positive. Because I had such a genuine interest and kind of passion in nutrition, there's never been a time where I felt more engaged in the curriculum that I've learned or what I've been actually studying. There's quite a broad range of topics that you'll go through, from things like sports nutrition to more pediatrics, aging, preventative, etc. Like, it's a good foundation of knowledge. I think that as you go through, because it's so broad, you'll start to kind of feel certain areas or certain aspects resonate with you more than others. For example, sports nutrition and like macro counting and performance, that kind of aspect, it just doesn't really resonate with me. But I've definitely found my niche, so I know kind of where I want to focus my time now and my energy. And I will say that I've pursued continued education beyond CSNN, courses here and there to just supplement my learning and to become more of an expert in those fields that I am interested in. So for example, I have taken the hormone and endocrinology course through Josh Gitalis, which is also offered online. And so I wanted to make this video as I wanted to talk about what's gone on for me personally since I have completed my studies and since starting Firm Ground Nutrition. It is kind of a roller coaster starting your own business, but one that I wouldn't trade, that's for sure. I would have never personally thought of myself as an entrepreneur or somebody that was going to want to start their own business one day, but now I kind of feel like there's nothing else that I want to really do with my career and my time and my energy, etc. So I will say that, like I just said, it is a roller coaster. Some days you feel like you're totally on top of it, you've got it all sorted out and you know exactly what you're doing, and then other days, or even like the next hour, you're like, wow, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm a total failure, like, let's just Google job postings and like go back to where I came from, because I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and like I need to start making money. It's a really challenging thing to navigate, these highs and these lows and the peaks and the valleys that come with starting your own business and, you know, getting out there and hustling and figuring out ways to make money when you're a brand new nutritionist. It can be really challenging getting that experience under your belt, knowing where to start, who to target, what you want to offer. There's so many variables. So I had all of those doubts, all of those questions, all of those things come up, and in fact, they come up for me still every single day. But one thing that I really believe in is that the number one investment you're going to make in your business, if that's the path that you choose to go, is yourself primarily. And by that, I mean taking care of you, your health, making sure that, you know, you're not burning out. Self-care, we know all about that. It's all over our social media. It's a big thing right now for an important reason. But I guess the second most important investment that I would say is really taking the time to equip yourself with tools and knowledge and resources that are going to kind of level out some of those highs and lows. So I have sought out different business programs, trainings, online, you know, marketing, social media, like full business programs. I'm talking B school, paying big money for stuff. And I've done kind of day intensive courses, small business courses. I have literally done so many. Like I've overwhelmed myself with how much information I've tried to take in, because at the end of the day, starting a business is really important to me, and I want to do it right from the very beginning. Not to say that you can't, you know, fix things as you go, but I want to be very kind of mindful and strategic about the type of business that I'm creating. So that's why I've sought out extra trainings when it comes to running a business and how I want to go about that. And my hands down most beneficial course to date, I can tell you about a couple I've taken, but my most beneficial course that I've taken to date was definitely the program put on by Joyous Health. So it's the Joyous Health Business Program. I did her first kind of run of it and had a really great experience. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So I chose to sign up with the Joyous Health Business Program because, like I said, I felt like it's such a great investment to equip yourself with the tool set and the knowledge that during those highs and those lows, you know kind of how to navigate. And what I really loved about this course, there's a couple things that really stuck out to me. So the first is that it's put on by a nutritionist. So you cannot get more relevant information and advice and, you know, actionable steps to take towards your business than from a nutritionist. And that made a world of difference to me. I had, like I said and spewed off, I've taken several trainings and business programs and courses and webinars and blog posts. I've totally overwhelmed myself with that kind of information, but none of them were ever put on necessarily by nutritionists, and that was definitely the ticket for me to hear kind of in people in the trenches that are going through exactly what you are going through or have been through those things. They can actually give you advice that's going to serve you the best. It's changed, and I'm sure that half of my face will be a shadow in this video, so apologies, but I just was not about to mess with my lights because, truth be told, I don't really know how to work them and to like fill the light in the right way. But what I wanted to say was, just to wrap this up, I think the final kind of indication that this program was worth my investment was that I've been able to maintain the momentum that I built up whilst the program was going on. Since the program has ended, it's not like all my progress or momentum came to a screeching halt. It really set me up with the necessary skill set and kind of helped me devise a plan personal to me that has given me the momentum and the tools to just keep going forward and pushing forward. So it's really exciting because I've got a lot of cool things in the works. I've got programs and workshops and lots of cool content coming out for you guys. None of it is quite at a point where I'm ready to share details, but my website generally has everything that's currently going on. So you can check that out. The link is below. Instagram is probably the most up to date, so if you're not already following me there, be sure to go and check that out as well. Otherwise, I wanted to say, if you guys have any more questions that I haven't answered, whether it is about pursuing nutrition, if you're a nutrition student, if you have more questions about the Joyous Health Business Program, or perhaps just kind of general starting up your own business, please reach out to me. I love this kind of conversation. I love talking about it and discussing it with people. So don't be shy. You can message me on Instagram or actually send me an email, whatever is kind of best for you. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you'll see my face up on YouTube again soon, but in the meantime, Instagram is always a good option. Hope you guys have a great day. See you later.